Welcome everyone to our weekly Soul Changes Lives webinar. My name is Debbie Perez Cockburn. I am the mentor of this group and I try to provide good health information for everyone. I want to remind anyone who's watching or sharing this video later on, no member of our panel, anyone discussing here today, is a medical doctor. We don't talk about diseases. We don't try to talk about treating diseases. We just want to share some great natural health information with you. And we usually have a couple of sections. This week is a little different webinar. We are going to do a very informal chat about our cardiovascular health and 4 numbers that we need to know to protect our heart and our circulatory system. And we always start with a testimonial. And this week's testimonial comes from soul specialist Gwen Jenkins. She is a dear friend, and I am going to share my screen so that you can see her video, okay? Oops. It went to another video. Hold on, guys. Everybody.
Gwen, with just a quick testimonial, I wanted to share with you what results I'm getting with Fast Track and Good Vibrations. So I did the 4-month cleanse last year, and I continue to take the Fast Track and the Good Vibrations. I take them basically every morning. I might skip a morning or two, you know, out of town on the weekends, this kind of thing. But the past couple of months, I have noticed that I have really been shedding pounds. I've shedded 10 pounds. I don't like to say lose because you're always finding what you lose. But anyway, I've shed 10 pounds, and it seems to be really helping me reach my weight maintenance goal of getting down to 130 pounds. I was 160, now I'm 150, and I am excited about what is to come. I also added the collagen. I take it maybe not every day. I take it at least 3 times a week. So I think that this combination together is giving me great results. So try it. Maybe you'll get great results as well.
I love that testimonial. I love that testimonial. She was talking about the 4-month program, actually. And then she has just maintained using the Good Vibrations as well as the Fast Track. And every now and then she adds the Omnitox, and she says that she's lost 10 pounds. Isn't that amazing? Who doesn't want to lose 10 pounds, especially during pandemic time, right, when we're home? And add to pandemic the crazy weather we've had across the country that has forced us to remain even more locked up inside the house. And sometimes, you know, stress will make us want to eat a little bit more. And so with that in mind, I love that testimonial. Thanks again, Gwen, for sharing your story. With that testimonial in mind, I really made me think this week, you know, so we're here at the end of February. February is the month where a lot of people like to remember Valentine's Day, you know, love, friendship, the whole thing. Affairs of the heart, if you will, in a different sense. But February is also the month in the United States and around the world now where people are, it's dedicated to heart wellness and heart wellness awareness month. And so you may see, you know, ladies in red dresses because we've seen the incidence of heart attacks grow among the female population in the United States. And what's even more devastating and more alarming is the incidence of cardiovascular disease in younger people. So I have a sweet friend, she's in her 40s. She recently suffered a stroke. And when you think about strokes, you don't think about young people. I've also heard of younger children having strokes and having heart attacks. The incidence is much higher now than it has been in the past. for the last, I don't know how many years. You know, it used to be that when I was growing up, you thought of a person having a heart attack, you always imagined some gentleman who was late in life and overweight, who would be probably the person who would have a heart attack. That ideal has gone completely out the window. So there's 4 numbers that are really important that we need to remember and know if we want to make sure that we are being heart healthy or heart conscious. And so if you have any questions or comments, I hope that you'll open your microphone and ask. You know, we try to keep this discussion to 30 minutes, so let's keep that in mind. But the first number we need to have a good idea on is going to be our blood pressure. And blood pressure, you know, they say the ideal is 120/80. So 120 is the systolic, 80 is the diastolic. It's really interesting when you look at these 2 numbers, because it really is a correlation between how much your heart is pumping out and how much liquid your kidneys are filtering, and that maintaining that balance, right? So knowing our blood pressure is important. That's the first number that we need to know. So if you don't know your current blood pressure, but you're a person maybe who goes to the dentist regularly, dentists now, the dental hygienist will usually take your blood pressure at that appointment, right? So if you remember, just write it down or run over to your friendly pharmacy. They'll do your blood pressure for free right there, right? Or you can do it at the CVS, the Walgreens, any of those places. You can get a good reading on your blood pressure. Write that down and then check it every month and make sure that it hasn't gone up too high or too low. I will tell you that personally, my blood pressure, my systolic is never higher than a 92, and the diastolic is never higher, well, usually not higher than a 69 to 70. So usually my blood pressure is 92/68 or 92/70. And the dental hygienist always goes, wow, you have the best blood pressure ever. You know, if it goes below that, if it goes far below if your diastolic, the number on the bottom, is less than 60, that's dangerous. Okay. You'll get really dizzy. If the top number is less than 80, that's also bad. Okay, so you don't want super low blood pressure, because that usually indicates you're not being hydrated and you have probably some mineral problems. You're not getting enough minerals in your body, and that your kidneys are probably suffering. And that also is another indicator that you might be suffering from blood sugar issues. So too low is bad, too high is horrible, right? Because it increases the incidence of stroke and heart attack. So we want to make sure that we know our blood pressure. That's number 1. The number 2 thing that we need to know always, right, is our cholesterol level. So cholesterol, when I was growing up, 200 and something was the ideal. I'm 62. By the time I was 45, 48, the number had gone from 225 to 180 was the ideal in total cholesterol. Now they're saying that the ideal number for cholesterol is 125. Okay, and the reason why we want to make sure that cholesterol is not too high is, remember, those plaques will stay in the circulatory system. That causes blocked arteries, that causes poor circulation. It can cause also blood clots to form in the circulatory system, right? And we can have a deep vein thrombosis or have a blood clot travel from the legs to the lungs, say, for instance, or even worse, could travel to the brain, right? So cholesterol is really interesting, and I'll show you some products and why the 4-month program is so ideal for maintaining all of these numbers in the right place. Now, number 3, the third number you should know, this one, you're not going to love me when I tell you, okay? You're not going to love me, I tell you right now. And then number 4, the number 4 that you need to know, you're going to really hate me on, okay? So, but don't knock it. I've researched this and this is really true. So the third number you really need to know and want to keep at an ideal rate is your waist, your circumference. So they tell us that for a woman, it should be 35 inches or less. I can remember when I had a 21-inch waist. Man, that was fabulous. But I think I was probably about 18 years old. And I had severe eating disorders. And so that's probably why I was able to maintain that small waist. That's not ideal. For men, it should be 40 inches or less. Now for men, you know, I know some guys who say, oh, I still wear the same size pants I did when I was in high school. That's because they fighting Dunlap disease. You know Dunlap? When their belly Dunlapped over their waist, Dunlapped over, and they started wearing their pants at their waist. And then as they got older and that belly kept lapping, they keep lowering their pants until now they're just about around their bum. So, but that, you know, that's not ideal. But if you can maintain your waist at about 35 inches or less, then that gives you an idea of how much weight you need to lose. So for instance, I know I have been on this journey, and like Gwen, I've noticed that my weight has come down. I used to weigh 189. This morning I weighed 171. So I've lost, you know, a couple of pounds slowly, but I still have a ways to go, right? Because ideal weight for me at my age and at my height, I'm 62, I'm almost 5'3". How sad. When I look in the mirror, I think I'm 5'7", but I'm almost 5'3". My ideal weight would be at about 125 pounds. Now I'm realistic. I know I'm not going to get to 125. I'd be very happy being 140 pounds and having a smaller waist. The smaller waistline is important, ladies and gentlemen, because when you have toxic fat around your body, that's that visceral fat, that's that nasty brown fat, brownish yellow that accumulates. That stuff is toxic. That stuff holds on to all the toxicity that's moving around your body, and it lays around your waist. And think about the organs that are around the waist, right? You've got your liver, your gallbladder are leading down on there. Your intestines, the top of your intestines is there too. And we don't want that toxicity to build up there. And that's the reason why we want to make sure that the waist is smaller. But for every inch that you can pinch, that's 10 pounds that you have to lose. So that will help you with your number 4 number, which is know your ideal weight and your goal weight. We can talk about BMI. I think BMI is overrated. You know, your body mass index, where you take and measure the fat in your body. That's pretty cool. But I know when I look in the mirror that I have more fat than I have lean muscle. So the only way I can help that is by increasing my exercise, right? So I can manage number 3 and number 4 by walking a little more and eating a little better. So what does that mean? It means that, just like Gwen said in her testimonial, right? She started out doing the 4-month to health program. And one of the things that I love, oh, Sybil says she lost 32 pounds this year. Shouldn't our waist be in proportion to our height? You can do a little more research on the waist and your height, but I'm just going by the American Heart Association standards right now. They have said that our waist as ladies should be 35 inches or less. So I'll let you figure out where you want to be on that and where you want to be on your weight. But congratulations on the weight loss. That's awesome. You look amazing. But I will tell you that these products here will help us really get a good handle on what we need to do. Because we're starting to help the body balance, and then we move into the detox program, right? And when we detox, that's what I love that Gwen said, is that she has been adding the good vibrations to her diet. So we have the fiber product, which has soluble fiber and non-cellular fiber. That means that it travels through the circulatory system as well as through the intestinal system to draw out toxicity, draw out excess cholesterol, because there is non-soluble fiber. That's the one that stays bulky. That's the one that goes through the intestines and helps move out old feces that are still stuck in there. It helps to remove toxicity, because remember, fiber is like a sponge. So it's going to help pull things out and then kind of wash it out and move it along. It helps your bowel movements. It helps increase bowel movements. But when you combine it with the fast track, then you're getting your bowels are moving faster. But remember, good vibration also has a great amount of fiber that is soluble, and soluble fiber is the one that goes through your circulatory system. That's the one that's going to help increase your the way the blood moves through your body, and it will help keep your all of your blood moving. What do I want to say? I am at a loss for words today. It will keep your arteries and veins clean. So it will keep them clean and help your body pump the blood faster, which will also help your blood pressure. So that's really important. Now, how does Soul Royal play into that? Because it's not part of the 4-month program. I love Soul Royal because, like I said, I use it twice a day. I have noticed that my skin looks better. I'm walking a little faster. I'm moving with a little less pain. So it helps that. But it also helps because there's fiber in here and there's protein. It helps you manage your weight. And so it helps stop those cravings. And the way I take it, my worst cravings are at nighttime, you guys. When my husband is watching movies and he's enjoying his snacks and I'm sitting there going, I want to have a snack too. So I'll hurry and I'll do an envelope, a packet or a scoop of the Soul Royal, and I mix in 1 packet of the Soul Renew. I drink it at night. I feel really good. It's a little bit of extra protein, a little bit of extra fiber. What I love the most about taking it at nighttime is that it also helps me sleep better. And there's a lot of studies that show that when you can sleep better, you manage your stress better during the day, right? If you manage your stress better during the day, the less likelihood you have of building up extra cortisol in your abdomen area, right? Which is what has that toxic fat buildup in our waist, that visceral fat. And so stress will affect our weight. It affects our blood pressure. It affects our cholesterol level, because your body tends to compensate by making more of a substance that it doesn't need to make more of. So cortisol is a great example of that. So if we can manage our stress with Renew and taking the Soul Royal at night, you really get a great benefit. And what I love about doing that at nighttime and helping also our circulatory system function better is adding the Vertizymes. So if you're taking your shake at night, your Soul Royal, at about 8 p.m., that's about the time I take it, and I go to bed at 10. Right before I go to bed, I take my enzymes before I go to bed. My stomach is now empty. 2 hours after having had that little shake, I should have absorbed it into my digestive system already, and it's probably already done its thing. I take enzymes on an empty stomach because proteolytic enzymes help to clean out the excess fibrins that can accumulate in the circulatory system. So in the veins, in the arteries, in all of our bloodstream. And if you build up those toxins in there, that's really what does you in the long run. And there, in my research this week, when I was getting ready for this talk today, if we can control those numbers, we can also control the incidence of neurological disorders like Alzheimer's, like dementia, like memory loss. So all of these things affect our body. It's not just to protect our hearts. Obviously, we want to protect our hearts because that's what keeps us alive. But there's not one system in your body that works independently of another, right? So if we've got the digestive system working well, we've got the nervous system working well. If we have the digestive system working well, our lungs will work better, right? Because there's less toxicity that builds up. Our endocrine system works better when we have all of these things. So if we can manage our health by changing our diets, walking a little more, you don't need to buy a gym membership. All you have to do is pick up 2 cans of soup and use them to build a little bit of mass in your muscle, then you can do that. Walking is a great form of exercise. It is shown to reduce stress. It is shown to improve cognition. It has shown to improve our lung functioning and helps us move our bowels. So walking is a great thing that we can do to manage those numbers. It's also going to help bring down our blood pressure. There's a lot to be said for the world that was created for us. And when we go out and walk in it and enjoy its beauty, there's a lot of wisdom in that old statement that says, stop and smell the roses, because it really does help you. So I hope that this has been beneficial to you today. I always have fun researching different topics that sometimes you think, oh, we know everything about that. I apologize. You probably heard my dog Lola. She's an old girl. Every now and then she makes weird noises. But just remember the 4 numbers that we need to keep control over. Our blood pressure, we want it to be under 120/80. Our cholesterol, which we want it to be under 125. Our waist size, if we're a man, less than 40. If we're a woman, less than 35. And that also depends on your height. So I'll encourage you to go ahead and do that research on that, what your waist size should be for a woman your age and your size. And then watch our weight. And hopefully we can continue to celebrate our Heart Healthy months in February. I love you guys. I love you for sharing soul. I'm so excited about the new things that are coming up. So make sure to join our webinar early next week, because the announcements that I will be talking about will be shared on Monday mornings, Talking Success with Jordan. And that is at 11 a.m. Mountain Time. And that comes on YouTube. But if you're not able to watch that, I will do a quick recap of it before our weekly webinar. But there are some amazing events coming up that I hope that you will plan on being with us there. Okay. Love you guys. Have a great week.